China has always taken a realistic approach to human rights issues. China never regards human rights as an absolute, abstract notion of philosophy. Instead, Chinese government believes that human rights cannot be separated from realities and developmental stage of a country. So you can see that because China is the largest developing country in the world, and therefore in the year of 2012, the Chinese government placed poverty alleviation as the priority of its government. And by efforts, last year China announced that it has eradicated absolute poverty, which is a great contribution to the human rights, not only for China, but also for the whole world. So I think that this is an example to show that China adopts a realistic approach to human rights.
Right, and over half of those who responded to the survey agreed that the issue of human rights is being weaponized. There are some Western countries opposing China's human rights. What role do you think Western politicians play in that statement?
Well, I think that weaponization of the issue of human rights is a noticeable phenomenon in recent years. One example is illustrated. After the concrete measures made by the Chinese government, Xinjiang has realized prosperity and stability in the recent years, and there is not a single terrorist attack occurred there. However, ignoring the improvement in human rights in Xinjiang, the United States implemented so-called Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act this year. And according to this act, the U.S. government will sanction the companies not only located in Xinjiang, but also the companies that participate in the poverty alleviation program, or even the companies that employ the residents in Xinjiang. So you can see that although the U.S. government says that the act is trying to, help China to improve the situation in Xinjiang human rights issues, but in fact, it does not care about the human rights in Xinjiang. It will, do something which is harmful to the human rights in Xinjiang. So I think this is an example to show the westernization of human rights issues by Western countries.
And the survey also says over 60% of the respondents agreed with the concept of a community with a shared future. What does this say about the role that global powers should play or would play in the future?
This result of poll, I think, is illustrative. It tells us what kind of future that the people of the world want to like. I think that in the future, the world should be a world of cooperation and mutual respect. In other words, when to solve the differences between countries or to solve international challenges, countries should, take a cooperative activities and show the respect to each other instead of addressing the problems from so-called position of strength. So I think that multi-polar world will be the most likely prospect. So, or in other words, the world will not be dominated by one superpower in the future.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor Huo Zhengxin from China University of Political Science and Law. Thank you very much for your insight.